Hello and welcome to Invul. I'm about to say UNL. Welcome to Invul Esports stream. Um, as we get into the pregame thing, I misclicked for a second there, but no one saw that. Thank God. But tonight, it's gonna be me, Eris, the social media content manager. I was shit posting extraordinaire, whatever for Invul, and we're gonna be joined by a little bit of a debut in the NLC D3 casting community. If everyone in chat wants to give a warm welcome to Kezim, who's been casting with me on UNL, if he's here.
Hello, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, I called Kezim in last second because I completely forgot to message like yesterday because I slept 18 hours. Good job. But yeah, we are casting tonight. You Invul Lotus versus Viperio, from the Division 3.2 section of NLC. The depths. But as you guys might have seen on the pre-game slides, Invul Lotus on a 4-0 hot streak, unbeaten in the two best of twos we've played, absolutely slamming the league. And Viperio not doing too well in the standings. They're probably going to look to get on with it. But obviously there is the big demon at the top of the table. But we won't talk about them because none of the teams playing tonight. But Kezim, how are you this evening? Is
I
is it hot for you as well? Because it's very hot here.
yeah, I actually just saw the news a few minutes ago. It's gonna get even worse over here. I am from Ireland, obviously. I'm not from the UK, but it's getting worse over here. So I'm not a heat person. I'm definitely not. I love winter. I love nighttime as well. A lot more than I love summer and daytime. But
Yeah, for me, I'm not a person that enjoys the heat, but I'm someone that hates the very cold. I hate extremes. I like just in the middle. But the problem is for me is that in London, it gets pretty hot. It gets hotter than the rest of the UK because obviously pollution, and we get trapped in that nice hot bubble. But at the same time, I live in a flat that is very well insulated. Insulation is supreme. Goated. In the winter, toasty and warm. In the summer, I'm in a furnace.
yeah, that's a lot of sense. I mean, I have every window in like I basically I live with my family, but I'm the only one that sleeps upstairs. So I basically have the entire upstairs is sort of my area, and I have every window open here, and I'm still way too warm.
Well, for me, it's I have my window, I have my bathroom window, and they're the only two windows I can have open. And if I want to create like a nice ventilation draft, I have to open my door, which then goes through the like our passageway into the living room and then out through the front, and it's a very nice, cool breeze that goes through. Issue is I have to open my door.
Yeah.
I don't want to open my door because there is a cat in this flat, and this cat will attack me if I'm too loud. So yeah, but yeah, that enough of the heat. Um, but in the same essence, Lotus on a hot streak. But let's introduce the roster tonight. Obviously, Kezim, I don't think you're gonna be familiar with these players. Throwing you into the deep end, so if you want to op.gg them real quick and learn as much as you can, go for it while I stall for you. Don't worry. But in the top lane, it's Sanity. Jungle, it's Slice. Mid lane, it's Lofty. ADC, Lonar. And support, it's Marcusa, or as he's changed his league name to Marcusa. He loves the Zeds. He's a bit of a sleeper. Jokes. And on the side of Viperio, it's their top lane is Zeta. Jungle, Ramos VR or Ramos. Mid lane, it's Massivien, but I'm going to say Massey tonight because I'm really bad at names. ADC, Zamza. I'm going to say Zams. And support, Divinus? Divinus.
We can improvise on the names,
I mean,
I think.
the names and stuff. It's like whatever. I'm just there currently are there is a currently rule check happening right now about about a disabled champion. Believe it's Siva. But they are just checking that over the rules and stuff.
Oh, fair enough. I was meaning to ask actually. I assume Neela's not enabled.
Neela is not enabled.
Okay.
She shouldn't be. She shouldn't be.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
They were discussing that, but they're saying in the rulebook she's not like it's not specified. But I mean, they do whatever. They did start draft. They're doing the draft through the websites as we usually go through these. Obviously, we're not on the the pro client, or what I can't remember what it's called. It is the pro client, right? Obviously with all champions and stuff. But these guys, they know what they're doing. They know what they want to pull out. Um, but Kezim, how you have you played much of the patch that came out last night? But
I have played a little bit of it, yeah. Sivir does seem a lot stronger, especially her numbers. Her numbers are very, very high in comparison to what they were before. And I think Neela, obviously, having a champion that's new come out, obviously it can't be enabled because, it's new. No one's played against it. No one's played it. But if you, I don't know, I don't know how much you've been paying attention to her. Her numbers in terms of win rate are ridiculously high for like a first day champion.
well, I was talking to this with our good friend Granny Spanner last night, and I said, I was like, oh, she only has a 40% win rate. I think she might need like a change or something because her early game feels terrible. But then Granny Spanner said, you do know that's the highest out of every like champion that's been released, and I went, what?
Yeah, that is ridiculously high. Like everyone knows the state Bel'Veth is in at the minute. I think she was low 30s when she came out, if I remember correctly.
Well, I mean,
So it's
with Neela, I played a few games with her last night. Now, I am a silver pistol kind of player, so when you have to play a champion that requires brain from your team early, it's not going to help, honestly. Because I mean, the first game I played against Lux Jin, and I got my fade run. My support was, I will say, my support was AFK. But when you play solo queue, you got to think for yourself. Don't worry about your team. How are you gonna win the game? That's the mentality I go in with, and it most of the time it works. But the problem was the obviously she's so low range without the Q.
mm,
It's so hard to farm, even under turret.
yeah,
And also you're against Lux Jin that are just poking you and just knocking you. Yeah, didn't go well for the early game. The late game, I got 3 items. I just power farmed. I went Chovy on them. I was 300 CS at 34 minutes, and I was like, yes, I've regained my sense of belonging in this game. And then I got a quadra kill, saved the Nexus 3 times. We won a fight, ran it down mid. Then Ocean Soul Point came up, and my jungler recalled, and we lost the fight. And we lost the game. But I mean, the game was lost from 15 minutes, but it went to like 35, 36 minutes. So I see it as an absolute win.
yeah.
But
I mean, I haven't played it myself because all of my blue essence is gone after the Emporium recently. But I was playing with a friend who played it, and one of the things he brought up a couple times was how difficult it is to CS on her. So I don't think you're alone there. But also, it's if you look at her, like her numbers in terms of builds, which I don't generally really like using, but if it's like a huge difference between items, like it's obvious that there's something. It's
yeah.
it's at least something to go off. But if you look, Shieldbow has. I think Shieldbow is actually positive win rate on her second day.
When I was
Oh no,
talking,
she is just positive win rate now. I'm
yeah,
looking at it now actually.
when I was talking to my good friend Fool, I don't know if he's watching tonight. He usually about new champions and stuff. I go straight to him. This guy in and around everything. Me and him discussed lore, and we were freaking about Star Guardians today. But with Neela, I was like, okay, what's the build? And he was like, okay, it's shield bow, and then it's PD because you want to stick to them. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. And then I was like, do I play like Samira? And he was like, probably. And then I tried to play like Samira and inted so hard. And I was like, okay, she's a Samira clone without Samira. Like
Yeah.
she doesn't do the raw damage that Samira can output. She's more of like it feels like an elongated like. There is a weird thing like you are an engager in a weird way.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
And like you need to. There's like a weird like you need to look for your opportunity. And I mean, it's possible for her to. I mean, I'll probably go back and watch some games of her from higher elo players and be like, okay, she is busted as hell. But that's because they're playing her like this, and obviously people need brains. And like I think if you could just forego the early game, he was telling about runes, so he's saying Conqueror is the way. But Fleet into poke matches is you need it. Like you need it certified. I was like, okay, cool. And then I play a second game and I don't get Neela, so I'm like, okay, I just got bodied by Jin Lux. My support just lot Lux. Give me Caitlyn, and Neela was dead 5 times before she even came out. So, like, there is a way to abuse her early, Obviously, we're not going to see her tonight, but it will be interesting to see how she moves around in the meta and if she ever really breaks into pro play. Because I feel like that early game can be very painful
Yeah.
in in
Excuse me.
in a pro setting or a competitive setting where people will look to abuse the smallest of mistakes. But at the same time, I've seen like people get away with murder in pro games, so it could be give or take, either or.
Mm.
But also this Sivir thing, I've obviously one of the Invul Lotus players did link one of the broken videos. What have they done to her? Is it the new rework, the new little modification where she just
Yeah, it is. It's basically what I can remember off the top of my head is that a lot of her mana problems are fixed because mana was, especially in lane, a really big problem. And I know her passive was just given a flat buff. Her Q now scales with crit, which is probably the biggest change. And her Q scales with crit, and it moves faster on the way out, slower on the way back. Her W, I don't know what they're called. The little things we'll call them for the sake of conversation. They can bounce back onto the same target that they've already hit,
Ooh.
and so I think they can bounce up to 8 times if I remember correctly, and then they can bounce onto each target up to twice. Her E also gives her health now instead of mana, and her ult uh, auto attacks reduce her cooldowns by zero point 0.5 seconds, I think. That's everything off the top of my head, but I will let you, or
that.
I will let them go into draft.
Yeah,
I mean,
we've gone into draft. I let you go on that nice Sivir little draft little rundown right there. But yeah, I mean, I would. Is it a 500 CS win condition Sivir now, or is there a playability early?
she doesn't seem very strong early, as far as I can tell, at least. But she does. The crit build is actually really, really strong now, which is I never felt like it was that strong personally,
Yeah,
but
I mean,
before it
I,
was pretty much lethality all the time.
I really hate lethality Sivir because it gives me that sense of, oh, this champion's good, and then you get to 30 minutes and she dies one shot and you don't get to do anything, and it's like, okay, cool, whatever. But then like crit, I've just had a fascination with crit. I love, obviously, I like playing ADC. Do enjoy that role. And when you bring in lethality ADCs, like with MF, okay, it's cool, but I don't have fun playing it. Xayah, okay, I had fun playing it, but I really like a crit Xayah, a mega attack speed going brrr, all my feathers, and then just outplaying. But I mean, lethality, it's fun in aspects, and then it's not fun at the same time. As we come back to draft, and we've seen obviously they're picking their champions, so you could, and they're just, I think they are. I don't know if they're banning the champions they were banning before. But I do like the Lotus bans of Karma Seraphine.
Oh,
And we do see Sivir picked up, so that was a nice little tangent. But Kog'Maw Lulu as a reply. A lot of scaling on the side of Viperio. And oh no. 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 Stop it. Marcusa, stop it.
we have the Corki of support in 2022. Almost forgot what year it was.
Yeah, and we see the Ash Veranda. Obviously, I guess they were just doing runes and stuff. But we see a Volibear picked up for Slice, and now I know is it two of his abilities just got like hard nerfed?
3.
Was it
actually.
3?
It was 3, yeah. It was his Q move speed. I don't know if they changed anything else about his Q. His W damage and his E damage. So it's all just damage nerfs across the board, basically.
Which
So he will be more of a more based around utility, which I feel like makes a little bit more sense
yeah,
for a tank
I mean,
to not be killing everybody on command.
I seen this. His W did just like he bit you once and you just fell over. I mean, Volibear, like if a bear bites you, you do fall over, and you probably will die. So
I mean, especially if they're a they're a demigod, yeah, generally.
yeah,
A bite would hurt just a little bit.
but at the same time, it's like a bit strong. But when you're looking at this Volibear on the side of Invul Lotus, on our right side with their comp, you do look at the engage. Obviously, I am someone that when they played their 65-minute absolute slobber knocker, where me and Enix lost our minds, and that was only game one of the night. Neither team drafted hard engage, and somehow they won a fight because it was like both teams are kind of semi-poke, but they're not really poking. Whereas here, I look at this comp, I see, okay, an Ashe, it's a skill shot hard engage, but if you WR, bro, you're chilling. Volibear, okay, you are just kind of running at them, but you've got like this. You've got this Ashe that's gonna have arrows on every like 20 seconds, like just dun
Mm.
dun 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 dun. And then you look at the side of Viperio. They've got Gragas set up. They've got Wukong, who probably
Very,
gonna.
very heavy team fighting comp.
You've got
Very heavy team fighting.
Azir with his nice shuffle, and then you got Kog'Maw Lulu. And it's like, okay, who's gonna get to the Kog'Maw? You got Gwen and Ari that are probably gonna look for the Kog'Maw. But there's ample peeling. The
Yeah,
Volibear
this
can
is
try. There's a few issues for Lotus here, but if the Sivir gets enough time, as like you said, I think she could just dismantle the fight.
Yeah. I mean, looking at the standings and, current form, the record so far, it did look like Lotus were definitely a stronger team just based on that alone.
Well, granted,
But I think.
one of those
Go on.
wins is a 65-minute game, the longest game of
Oh my
season
God.
12. So far, we did the maths, we did the numbers. I even brought in the guys over at Elixir's Oracle to go Oracle's Elixir to go through it with the data that they've accumulated with their vast minds, and we confirmed that it was the longest game of season 12 so
Oh my
far.
God.
I think it was 2 minutes off one of the top 50 longest games of all time. And that's genuinely just because both teams didn't draft hard engage, and it was the hard engage from Lotus was a Volibear running at someone. And the other side, I think it was like the jungler like hits. I think maybe even Trundle, and Trundle hits pillar. I think that was the only two forms of major engage. It was so cursed, so beyond belief. But yeah, now we come back to the engage. Obviously, like you were saying, who gets to the Cockmore? There's a lot of
Yeah, I quite do prefer Viperio's draft personally, because I think if you look at it, well, it just depends, right? Like obviously the Ashe, the Sivir, even the Ari can be considered really really good poke. Whereas Viperio, in terms of poke, the most they're getting is like maybe Kog'Maw or like Azir a little bit as well, but definitely not enough to match that of Lotus. But I don't see anyone getting to the Kog'Maw, and when you have a Kog'Maw Lulu and it doesn't feel like you're going to be able to get on top of him, that's going to cause problems, especially when stuff like Sivir or Gwen do want to be playing for a later stages of the game more so than winning it before 20 minutes.
But at the same time, I pose you this question: who handles Gwen in the side lane?
That is also true. Yeah,
Who?
it's a difficult one.
As we are just loading into game now, spectator delay has finished, and we just need to make sure all the graphics are in order. And pray for no spectator bugs, as I think my Discord just crashed, and it's welcome back. Nice.
Technical difficulties.
Welcome. I mean, the stream could hear me, and luckily I was talking the whole way through before I realized that. So, but the stream definitely just heard a massive Discord call join. But yeah, welcome back. But going off skins, as I need to now restart the stream for you. Thank you, Discord. Be careful, chat. It's gonna be loud.
I could color cast
Oh, okay.
with a 3-minute delay. That also could work.
I mean, if the fights go long enough. If the fights go long enough, it always works.
Volibear opting for Predator.
I mean, he needs the
That's-
movement speed, maybe.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, his key was nerfed, and one thing I did play against it earlier, or I played with it. I can't remember, but he did seem noticeably slower. I don't know off the top of my head how big the nerf actually was, but he felt like I could notice the slow, if that makes sense.
You could notice the slow, as we are slow to get into the game, but we are alive. Anything level 1 you're gonna be looking for here? Do you think anyone's gonna do anything? As I do see the ping as well. The Sivir Ghost. How fast do you want to go?
Yeah. So I think Ghost is actually some as well. I think goes a little bit underappreciated. I think because obviously you have the champions like Darius, Udyr, even Rammus. The champion Tryndamere is another good one that are always taking it. But I think it's a lot stronger than the pick rate of it would suggest.
I mean, some mid laners picked Ghost, and you see like the Victors pick up the Ghost in the mid lane. I can't remember some.
Vladimir is the other one.
Also, Gwen, top lane, she's also got... We got double Ghost at the same time. Okay, we think about movement speed as just a thing, right? So you've got Gwen with Ghost, you got Sivir with Ghost, you got Volibear with Predator, and then you have Sivir ult. So if this Ash Arrow lands, by God, I hope they can run away. I don't think they can run away quick enough. As we see the wards in the bot lane, look for some cheeky level 1 action. Marcus is going to spot that out with his sweeper. As the camera is just having a bit of a freak out session.
I'm not a big fan of the Kog'Maw going D-Blade into a double poke lane. Because obviously you have, you know, D-Blade, if you have that 80 HP on it, it's a lot better for an all-in scenario, where, you know, if you're getting dove, like 80 HP on the spot is good, but if you're getting poked, having the HP, having 3 health pots, which is, you know, 150 effective health over the course of the laning phase, rather than having it all at once, is usually a lot more effective.
Yeah.
Obviously both corrupting pots in mid lane, biscuits, time warp tonic. You see it every. Well, Ari doesn't actually have biscuits, but
he's based. Because there's always the question, as we see the new Sivir W just bouncing in between literally everything in front of her. But yeah, as there's been conversation about what does biscuits achieve you in certain lanes, and I mean, obviously it's good for mana and position and just being able to push the wave. But obviously, if you've got corrupting pots and biscuits, are you over-indexing? But those are questions for smarter people and not me to decide.
I think the thing about biscuits and why it can be good, I'm not really someone who likes the rune very much, but
I have to cut you off for a second. We might have a gank here. Top lane Ramos going to be spotted on a ward. So carry on with your point. Nothing going to happen. Oh, unless... okay. I thought Zell was going to go for a little flashy, but wave's too big.
I'll wait until he actually finishes that back to say anything.
They're waiting. Ramos really waiting for it. They're going to go for the gank now. Zanity's going to just E backwards. Flash, body slam. The ghost spin pop. The W's down. I think Zanity might just fall here. He's just alive. Going to be a flash from Ramos. And that's 2 flashes for a 1 ghost.
God, that red buff slow is really... It's so difficult to run away from for a champ like Wukong that's constantly using autos.
And, I mean, does Zanity miss much on this gank? Not really. The wave was already crashing, so it should just rebound. I mean, it's a good gank, good first blood, but at what cost? Lofty hits the charm in the mid lane, and Massey just returns with a lot of damage in reply.
I think his biggest mistake there was attempting to outtrade Azir on 12.13. Are we on now? I think.
Yes? Question mark.
I mean, Azir has quietly been creeping up in strength, and I think the durability patch really sent him over the edge to the point that he's actually a good champ at the minute, especially in team play, and especially if you're good at the champ, which I think it's safe to say the vast majority of the player base aren't close, but he is extremely oppressive at the minute. You can really, by design, can be considered a perfect champ. He can engage, he can disengage. Like, what can Azir not do?
There's a heavy trade replied for Sanity. Look at this wave crashing bot lane. Not much of a CS lead, so if Zamza can pick up most of this, it's going to be huge. Let's see your last hit, buddy. He gets 1, gets 2, gets 3, gets 4, gets 5, 6. He's got it all.
Here is the most exciting part of scaling comps after durability patch. Can the Kog'Maw clear the wave successfully?
As Lotus get the Drake off that. Good macro decision for them.
Yeah, to go back to the point I was making at Biscuits, actually, I think it can be quite good on champions that traditionally like to be able to spam their spells in lane. Like, obviously, you can... An argument that's commonly used is, you know, just manage your mana better forehead. But if you have that safety net of just being able to use, like, not obviously not as much as you want, but being able to use a lot, and on top of the fact that you can't predict what's happening in the laning phase.
Slice is going to Predator forward, and Lofty's going to ult in. He's going to hit his W onto Ramos. Ramos is only level 4, stun down, charmed up, should be just taken down, and just without mid prio, you can't really go for that invade. Punishment from the side of Lotus. Lofty's just going to use the rest of his ult back in the lane. He's actually going to do a heavy trade back onto Massey.
Yeah, I mean, our Ari with any strong early game jungler, especially if they have their own CC, is really just, it's so strong, it's so difficult to deal with.
And they got this play on the side of Lotus. We're going to take a trade out back. Marcusa's taking a lot of damage here. Heal's blown. Divinus is moving forward. Marcusa's going to have to flash. And Lana can't really dish out as much damage as that Cockmore right now.
Yeah, I mean, with Kog'Maw, the thing is, he does, obviously, probably the highest, DPS champ in the game. Maybe? I don't know off the top of my head, but he's definitely up there. His issue isn't with damage, it's with, staying alive. And when you have, the Lulu Q slow, I don't know off the top of my head if her E slows either, but when you have so many slows and when Kog'Maw has so much range from the W and the lethal tempo being fully stocked, it really is just so difficult to get away from him.
Yeah, and I mean, early flash from the Ashe is... A heal was blown from Divinus earlier on in that. I think that was blown to keep up with the Ashe. I didn't really see it go down. It's got the same cooldown, so it should have happened around the same time. But it's a good pressure relief from the Kog'Maw Lulu, and it's also a good reminder to the Lotus bot lane of saying, hey, we can do damage to you.
Mm.
We're back to a bit of a lull state, a little farming state, Farmville happening right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of just to be expected. Obviously, Gwen ideally doesn't, like, she has matchups where she can play aggressive early, but does generally, as a rule of thumb, want to be playing for late.
As Divinus might be quiet here. Xanity gonna go ult in, get the ghost up. Divinus should just be dead. He's gonna flash. He's gonna get out. And I think Xanity might have just missed a bit of the ult there. It just doesn't secure the kill. Gets the flash out. But they don't have the Gwen ultimate. They don't have the Gwen ghost for this fight at the Rift Herald. Lonar's making his way up as well from bot lane. So this could be a 4v5 if it goes long enough. As Lotus are just positioning ahead of the fight in the river. Massey's looking for a flank here. Massey's going to go in. He's going to flash. Knock back 3. Great wombo combo from Viperio on a claim 1. Slice falls. But Lofty's going in. And he can't take anyone else. Divinus still alive on the backside of the fight. Divinus falls. Lofty's still alive. Lonar's here now. Can they just clean this up? So 2v2. Massey's going on to Lofty. Can't secure the kill. And Lonar's just going on to Rammus. I don't know who got the Herald. But Lonar's going to get one. Can he get Massey on this side here? Would Massey get out? No, but I think, did Lonar take that? Lonar did secure the Herald.
Oh my.
What a wombo combo.
It's a very, very good movement to go up towards the top side of the map as well for the Herald fight, which, I mean, Azir, obviously huge engage. But, I mean, this without Kog'Maw and when Invul have the Sivir up there ready and the Kog'Maw is still in bot, it can be quite hard to match the damage. Here.
Oh, flash stun. Oh, what a stop from Slice. Stops the shuffle or the slide away. I'm going to say the shuffle away, but he can't shuffle. He didn't have it. And I mean, you do ask, obviously, sometimes, what did Zamza get on the bot side? He does get the one plate.
But that is quite dangerous for a Kog'Maw, though, especially with the solo XP as well. But I do like the Sivir pick. It's getting waves in quickly. It's allowing both of them to go around the map. Obviously, securing them the Herald just now. Another kill in mid with the Ashe, which they maybe could have done without her still. But it's just playing around what the Sivir is good at very, very well.
Yeah, and I mean, Lana only did secure the one kill of the fight, but he did push the lane in, get the prio, came up, and they cleaned it up. He also stole the Herald, which is ridiculous to think against Jungler, but obviously maybe Rammus didn't have his smite. But it's Lofty in this mid lane, 4-0 now on the Ahri. Bit ahead of the game. Header can absolutely clear this wave out. And when we're talking about who wants to get onto the Kog'Maw Lulu, Lofty's got to be the one to find Kog'Maw.
And this Ahri now, she's so far ahead, and as well with the help of the minion dematerializer, she really can just push waves, go out and impact the map, do whatever she wants. Also opting for the Everfrost over Ludens. Obviously Ludens would do a little bit more damage because of the magic pen passive.
Looking for the dive, looking for the prio, and this Kog'Maw Lulu. I think this is going to be Herald drop, yes, probably first turret as well. Massey's looking to answer. They're not going to get the turret, I don't think, unless they will do force. They are just going to force it. They will take this. Marcusa has the arrow. They cannot step up to this. And that's huge for Lotus to get this game rolling. Massey's also wasting time. Coming down bot doesn't really give much in the mid.
I mean, obviously, as I was saying earlier, you can go for the Loons on Ari, which is, it's a lot more damage, but it's less lockdown. And when you have a team with, crazy pick potential with Ashe ult, the Sivir ult, Ari's entire kit, Volibear, the Everfrost, I think, is definitely the way to go, especially considering the likes of Wukong and Gragas, who... Gragas not as much, but Wukong definitely wants to be running at you. It can be very easy to lock him down with the Everfrost as well.
So we do check in the top lane, and we do see a CS lead growing for the side of Zeta, but maybe that's just from what happened after the fight. And we just see the Q poke coming quite heavily, but obviously Gwen, even at low health, she doesn't care. She will just eat you up alive. Divinus is going to come in here. Loftus is going to ult forward. He's going to ult forward. Oh, great cast, but Divinus, he's just walking sideways. And the Ashe arrow hits! Oh, what an arrow! It's not going to do much, but that came out of nowhere.
Yeah, obviously, you can see as well a huge change of the Gwen patch, and I will let you talk.
Lotus are just going in here. Zeta is now fallen. Ramos is fighting Slice. Slice is losing this. Stopwatch in, Ramos. I think you've been baited a little bit here, my friend.
I was going to say, obviously, one of the big changes of the recent Gwen, I don't want to say mini reroll, but it was quite a few systems.
They're still fighting! Slice comes down, Lulu also, Ramos smites the Gromp. They're smiting over a Gromp. The girls are fighting again, lads. They're arguing, they're bickering. Marcusa, he's just been caught out by Massey. I think he should be able to get out of this. Lona's just going to ult for the movement speed and the Cloud Rift as well. Gonna get him out.
No, if I have a chance to...
I don't think you're going to be allowed
to say anything. Obviously, a huge change with this, some of the Gwen changes that went out was that the role before, obviously it's 3 casts. You have the first one, which is, I don't know how many, I think it's 1, 5, and 9. But you have to, well, before this patch, you have to auto in between the casts. So if you weren't hitting anything, you couldn't actually recast.
Oh, the Ashe arrow, that's going to hit. And Ramos looked to sidestep. Oh, he's going to W into the wall, but he has to flash over it. And I think he just gets out.
But yeah, the Gwen being able to recast her ult without actually having to auto anything, obviously because there was no wave there, made it a lot easier to catch up with the Lulu, obviously, because of the fairly big slow on it.
Yeah.
So definitely a big system buff for the Gwen.
I mean, and all the fighting that seems to be going for Lotus' way, we're not seeing much of a Goldie, but Slice is going to fight Divinus, and he's just caught sleeping in the shop. Lotus, Lofty picking her up with the Everfrost. And that was unfortunate.
I mean, I suppose it just comes down to low concentration more than anything. I don't know if Volibear was spotted topside. I'm assuming he was.
I mean, there's no...
No, he would have been. No, he would have been, because he did fight the Wukong up there. And just, instead of walking back to the tower, just backing in the middle of the lane, it's very easy to avoid. Especially when you're playing against a comp with as much pick potential as this.
And we see Kog'Maw picking up his first item, Blade of the Ruin King. He is quite far behind the pace of the game right now, as Massey's going to be looking to fight, as we will check him with the gold. And, I mean, even in gold with Lana, but Lana is still seeing a 1.4, not recalled yet. That charm hits at a weird angle. But the second Herald is going to probably go the way of Viperio. So what can they do with this Herald? But they are foregoing this for Cloud Dragon Prio. In 38 seconds, Invul resetting, moving down. Also have Zanity already in the bot side.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. She's making a lot of progress, and they're obviously Gwen, one of the fastest AP champs at least at breaking towers and split pushing.
I mean,
it's part of her kit.
Isn't she the fastest?
I know Veigar, once he gets crazy amounts of AP, can be...
Oh, yeah.
It literally takes a couple of auto attacks. That was the one I had in my head.
But
obviously,
all my homies hate Veigar. Am I right?
Yeah, I don't think there's many people that like Veigar, to be honest.
As we do see Invul with the Vision Prio, with the Prio in the river, and you have to walk into this on the side of Viperio, and just poke into this just damage that can come from really anywhere. Massey can return a bit, and they can look for the hard engage. Zamza walking forward, and they're making progress into the river, but nothing. Arrow's going to go through. Zamza has to blow his cleanse. Zanity fired the ult Didn't get one. He's gonna fire his second cast. Gonna miss one, and the Herald's gonna be dropped. And they're gonna look for this mid tower, and then look to move down into this dragon fight. No arrow on the Ash, but the Charm's gonna hit Rammus. Rammus is gonna get ruined. He's gonna go back. The casting is on for everyone. Rammus steals the Drake. Slice has to all out, but he's just gonna fall. And Rammus is spinning to win. Massey with a huge shuffle, but they're just losing the fight. Lonar is cleaning everyone up. Zaya's gonna find it, but Lonar is still alive. Takes 3. Marcus is 1v1ing the mid laner, and his mid laner versus mid laner versus support on both sides as Lofty goes godlike. These fights are close.
This Ahri is just so much damage. You know, that first Q, I think it hit 3. Not the first Q, but one of those Qs. I think hit 3-4 people. It chunked multiple players on the side of Viperio, and as well, the Kog'Maw unfortunately just got caught in melee range against the Gwen in the Dragon Pit as well. He did try to flash away, but obviously you don't flash away from Gwen. If Gwen's on you, Gwen is on you. So I mean, it definitely looked like that fight was going really, really well for Viperio, and obviously the Drake stolen, which is very, very big. And it did seem to flip towards the end, but it ended up being pretty much, what was it, a 4-for-4?
Yeah, 4-for-4, yeah.
And I don't, but that Ahri shutdown is still there, which is going to be a problem.
Yeah.
They will need to deal with her eventually.
The question is, it's a 4-for-4, you get the Drake, but also what gold went onto your carries? And like, obviously Massey picked up a few kills, but Zamza, I believe, only picked up 1? Or maybe 2? Yeah. He didn't pick up much. And Lonar picked up a triple kill in the middle of that, like absolutely cleaned up the fight, while Lofty is also just one-shotting almost everyone on the field. And Ash without the Mante, Marcus is gonna stall out Rammus. And I mean, it took a lot for Viperio to get into the Drake pit. They did steal it, and the fight looked okay. So I mean, there is a way you can clearly see how this comp wants to play. Oh, and as we see an arrow hit, Divinus just gonna take half of his health.
Oh, that's super damage.
But then let's look at Lofty's item. Second item, death cap.
Yeah. Oh my. Yeah. I mean, obviously it's extremely strong if you're ahead. Most mages can do it. It's not great on some, but Veigar's the big one that will go second pretty much every game. Karthus as well, I know, likes it. But if you are ahead and you can afford it, Rabadon second is your damage is really, really difficult to deal with. Especially when you're playing a champ that can dish out as much damage as Ahri.
As we see Lofty, also with the Dark Seal 4 stacks on that, will we see that go into the Forbidden God book that Mr. Nymera has been pumping stocks into? I feel like every season we go from one book to a mask to a book to a mask.
Yeah. And the Volibear is actually going... He's going for Predator along with Chem Tank, and that could be Dead Man's. It may be also Force of Nature, but I'd imagine it's Dead Man's, and it's giving me a little bit of PTSD from Season 11 meta with Hecarim and Udyr that we had for about 6 months.
That was also with Phase Rush as well.
Yeah.
I did love the Udyr in the jungle. It's a fun pick to watch because he just runs and slaps people that just slap you.
Yeah.
Whereas Hecarim is like a big horse, okay, fantasy. Whereas Udyr is just a guy. He's just guy.
Udyr's just a guy in an animal outfit.
He's just guy, and he does thing, and it wins. Why can't we have more of that in League of Legends?
It's monkey versus polar bear every game.
I mean, hopefully, I think with the change of Volibear, we'll probably see a bit of a change, but you see Slice really forcing it through that Volibear is still good.
I mean, I'm not fond of Volibear being in meta in terms of solo queue because I just don't like playing against the champion. But I think in pro play, I don't mind it purely because he needs to be ahead. He needs to fight early.
Yeah, as we see Lotus moving in for this turret, they're dealing so much damage to that turret and not really taking much in return. Massey trying to pump out as much as he can. Same with Zamza, but it seems like Invul are kind of healing up more than they're doing, and they don't have any real healing abilities, like how do I say it, that aren't like attacking someone.
It's not lifesteal, it's just...
I mean, they don't, like, Volibear, he presses W, heals up a bit. Like, but he has to hit you. That's that poke was a little bit rude. But again, we're in for this Drake again. 5 minutes has gone past in a fraction of a second. 9 seconds for this Drake. And we're in the same position again. Pings are going down for the top turret. I think they're just going to give this from Viperio, and they're in a bad spot. But if they do give the position up, they might just lose their mid turret as well for one tier 1 top. Not really a best trade. As you can see, they are staying though.
I mean, this is here. He can obviously, great wave clear. He takes down.
Oh, the arrow's going to through, and Divinus is going to be hit again. The arrows are just magnetic, and the flash through. They're all just going for the Lulu. That was online bullying.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally it's how we put it earlier. There's too much lockdown, too much pick potential. It's you get hit by any skill shot, and it's so difficult to do anything after that. I think Lulu is actually going to go for Mikhail's rush, which will protect her teammates from, if you get Ash arrowed, the angry mod that will be running at you, but not herself. You cannot use that on yourself.
I mean, I did see a flash forward, and I thought it was Slice, but it's actually Lana flashing forwards.
Yeah, I do worry that he needs to remember he is an ADC. He's actually not allowed to play the game.
And the Ash Arrow going to come through. So it's going to be caught, and that's a splash from Slice. And Lofty is now legendary. And Zanity's ghosting him from the side. It might be a cleanup. Oh, the shuffle back. Going to keep them alive for now.
Yeah, I mean,
this
Viperio are really just playing into this win con. It's so, I'm not sure what the word is off the top of my head, but it's really easy to execute. If the Ash hits an arrow, target dies, right?
Yeah.
But they've been caught now a few times by the same thing over and over.
And they're going to be looking for this. Lofty's going to find the road to Zamza. He has to flash and cleanse away. But Zamza, everyone's coming for you, my friend. Run away, little dog. You can't. Oh, he's surviving, though. And he gets 1. Can he get 2? I think Slice might die here from the passive. Oh, he's going to get a double. And the dog returns it. They stopped the Baron. Oh, my.
Yeah, I don't know if you actually saw that, but the Kog'Maw cleanse and the Lulu Mikhails were used at the same time, and obviously the Mikhails, it does heal, but that's not the primary use of it. And I don't know if that was intended. I really doubt it, but they did actually use both of those very long cooldowns on the same CC.
That has to be one of the scariest clips of ADC. You know where everyone's running at you? You know the Talon clip where he's just screaming? That's Zamza right there. Just screaming, just click, 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 click.
I mean, by the time he gets to 4 items, I think it'll be I don't know if you've seen the clip of the Chinese Kog'Maw playing with the pug skin. Yeah, it's a real sight. I mean, once this Kog'Maw gets to his 3-4 items, gets to he will start building a little bit tankier, which will make his life easier as well. But once he gets to, especially the Gwynsu's are a really big item for him. He will start, his life is a lot easier. He does do a lot more damage. I think, I'd imagine we'll see a Runans, but I don't really like it in this game, considering all 3 of the bot-siders for Invul will be, playing relatively back. Ori not so much, but, I mean, I think Runans is just one of those items that just gets built on hypercars pretty much every game, regardless of comp, for some reason.
I mean, that fight was actually a pretty good one for Viperio. They stopped the Baron, and they also managed to get 2 kills on the way out for 1. And I mean, they get 2 kills onto Zamza, which is what they're looking for. He's going for his Ginsus, like you said. Already had picked up the Wit's End, which made him more tankier. And also he has the lifesteal with his Blade of the Ruined King, and he does give a slow. And then you question, okay, who has anti-healing? Okay, you've got Markusa. Okay, that means Markusa has to hit a W onto Zamza. And if Zamza is running away that quickly, and Markusa's he's not the quickest on this team, let's be real here, he's not going to be able to keep up.
Yeah, I mean, one thing with Viperio's draft is just how much AP they have, which is also why I don't really like the Wit's End, which I will get back to in a minute. Because if you look at, you have the Gragas, it's an AP Gragas, he wants to be nuking people. Then you have the Azir, obviously just, crazy magic damage. Then you have the Kog'Maw on top of that, and Kog'Maw is, he does do a lot of AP damage. His W is on-hit magic damage. He likes to build Wit's End. Obviously, the Bork is a little bit of AP damage. The W on-hit, his Q, his E, his ult. It is, it's one of the closer to mix
Oh,
than
Ash Arrow
anything
gonna come
else.
through and Divinus. Okay, sidestep this one.
Oh, it really is. It's so scary seeing one of those things flying at you. But
But
yeah, obviously you can see two Negatron cloaks for Gwen and Volibear. So I don't know how they're gonna manage to be able to deal with those two.
and I mean, Lotus just giving over the position on the Drake. It is going to be sole point in 1 second. The Drake is up now, but they're going to be fighting it back. And I mean, if you're the side of Viperio, can you really fight this? As Ramos being cheeky on the wall there, not using his W. But you see Lotus, they went over warded, then they're going to move back into the river. And we're in this position that we've been in for the past 3 Dragon fights. But Lotus are going to go turn nuking it. But they're going, Viperio, they're going straight to the Baron, but it's all on vision. And the Ash Arrow, I think it did connect. I saw the comet
Yeah,
go
it did,
flying,
it did, yeah,
and it
but you can see
stalls
them,
them
you can see the
out.
mandate mark.
And also, Lofty's here as well, and you just give another Cloud Soul for a team that already wants to go quick. Monka W. These are some very quick people now.
I mean, it's just coming down to this like positional and vision advantage that Invul have held pretty much the entire game around Botside River. Like they can't walk up, you know. It's because obviously there is a lot there. I think there is a lot of poke for both teams, but because of the lack of really hard engage, like there's no Ornn, something like this, something that really Hecarim even something that just wants to go in. Like the Wukong is okay, but it's a bit lower range. Obviously, the Azir is okay too, but he does kind of just get blown up if he gets too close with the Volibear stun and everything. But it really is just difficult to engage in a fight, Obviously, because the Ash Arrow makes it very easy for Invul to do that. Because, you hit... An Ash Arrow, I think, is one of the most unmistakable things in League. You go,
Yeah.
If someone's singing this sound, go. But they don't really have anything like that for Viperio, so it is really difficult for them to actually engage in a fight. And now, obviously, because of that, I mean, you're playing against a Sivir with Cloud Soul that has a Volibear, Gwen, Ahri, and Ashe on her team. Your life is going to be miserable for the rest of this game.
But I mean, if you're Kog'Maw, I think you're kind of okay with people running into you. Obviously, you
Yeah,
have a bit of a
he
range.
is. Yeah, he is.
Like,
Yeah.
if you saw we saw how the fights were going. Like the counter engage from the side of Viperio is quite huge. And Mazzy's there. He can definitely zone control with his ult. He can use it just to say, "Get off me." You've got Rammus who can cause havoc against any of the frontliners running through. There is avenues for the side of Viperio, but it might feel like the game's getting a little bit further away from them. And it is only a 2k gold lead, though. We must specify this, that it's not unwinnable for them. It's just the way Lotus are playing is making it very difficult.
Yeah. I would agree with that. It's I mean, looking at drafts
Oh,
alone,
Charm hits on Mazzy, and I think Lofty might go for this. Gets him to half health, but he's not going to ult of the wall. He was scared where the rest of the team were. Showing restraint for the cycle in the mid lane, which something I could never say about Lofty. He's a very crazy person.
Yeah, I mean, looking at drafts alone, I definitely would have assumed. I think they might fight over red buff here.
But hold the phone. The Baron's being taken, but Zanity's going to go straight for Zeta, and Zanity might just get a solo kill here. He might be looking for a solo bolo. It's the boss, and they're going to peel off the Baron. Did they get the Baron? They didn't get the Baron. I saw a purple on the bottom side. That confused me for a second there. It was the Rift Maker. And Invul backed off the Baron to maybe allow Sanity to get that solo kill?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. Obviously, the Gragas flashes down, which it's one of those champions that you do want flash on a little bit because of, especially when you're playing a comp with that doesn't have that much engage.
They did get Massey's TP as well.
Yeah.
And we're gonna see a TP from Zeta. Sanity might not want a TP they're just gonna go for the Baron. They do take this very quickly. Not many good walls for Sanity to go into. He doesn't have his ult. Invul, if they can stall enough, Sanity can take this boss side. He's going to TP in behind. The Ash Arrow goes through. He's going to hit Divinus again. The Lulu is just going to be blown up. But the Invul Lotus are going to get blown up on the reverse. It's a disaster. Sanity's going crazy in the backside. But, oh, they're Lofty as well. Oh, they're still alive. But it's a 2v2. Health bars are blinking. But Lofty, can he take out Massey? Massey, oh. Lofty.
Sorry, he's just playing these fights so well. He's going in. He's doing tons of damage. He's not getting picked off. But it keeps coming back to the same thing that obviously the decently big gold lead now up to about 2,500 gold. For the side of Invul, excuse me.
Invul.
It is making it seem a lot closer than it would be if the teams were even. But it's just the team that is getting into the river first in front of these objectives is consistently winning these fights. Obviously, that one, like I said, looked a lot closer than it maybe would have been if the teams were even. But but neither team have outside of the Ashe have a really good jump on this person, especially because the Ashe can only really use it on the Lulu because of the Mikhail's rush, and if she hits anyone else, they're pretty much out of it
I
straight
mean,
away, especially if it's the Cogball.
but at the same time, hitting the Lulu, she didn't get to ult that fight.
Yeah,
That means anyone on the side of Viperio, if they are low health, that's when you want a Lulu ult. You get the knock up, you get the extra
yeah,
health.
that's yeah. No, I'm saying the same thing as you. I'm
Yeah,
saying they need to hit the
yeah.
Lulu. If they hit anyone else, it doesn't do anything because of the Lulu's itemization, which I think
Oh,
the Mikhail's was very good first.
Lofty, he's looking. Hey, someone's gonna walk in. As the arrow goes through, Lofty's on the side. The charm's gonna go through. I thought I was supposed to hit Rammers, but Rammers no. He's gonna stopwatch, but I think he might just fall here. His team are just letting him die, and Lofty gets a double kill. He's 12-0-7, and the polymorph comes through, and you can see the clicking from Lana, but he can't click because he is a little dog. Or a little, I don't even know what that was.
Yeah, I mean, it's just they really are just playing, but both teams playing into the Invul win con more than anything really. Obviously, this Ashara, I think it's come down mid lane on four different times now, and it's done the exact same thing has happened every single time. And I don't know. I mean, it's just.
But
I can feel it's just awareness more than anything. I think.
That play right there though, I think for Zamza, he sees the arrow. Obviously, he doesn't have cleanse, he doesn't have flash, so he can't sidestep it. But he sees Ramos next to him, so he's like, okay, I'm fine. As the Ash arrow hits Mazzy, and Mazzy has to shuffle out of there. But the elder is up. The elder is up now. Invul did take the Baron. They're gonna go for the elder. Ramos is coming back from base. If they can get this quick, and they're gonna find a Lulu again. Lofty is just nuking everyone. This man is untamed. He's unhinged. You can't stop him. Lofty's hour is inevitable.
Yeah, I mean, it's just this. They just can't do anything. The Sivir damage is too much. Like the Gwen, the Ashe, the Volley. They don't really have to be ahead, just because of the fact that they're tanky. They have some level of utility. Not as much Gwen, but obviously they can't get to the Sivir. They can't get to the Ari necessarily, and it really is just so difficult to stay away from how much damage they are doing, especially with the rapid fire cannon for Sivir, who is putting on pretty much every auto at this point in the game.
Yeah,
It's just so much damage. It's so hard to get away from.
we're approaching Civ 500 CS win condition, but you can see his teammates are scumbagging him by taking all the CS, so he doesn't get to that win con just yet. But that's another win con for Invul. 500 CS, Civ just instantly wins. Monka W, get it counting in chat. Keep counting. As Invul looking to make this Baron push, they have struggled to break this base. The wave clear is quite good for Viperio, but you see Zanity on the bot side. He does take the turret, and Viperio are just standing as a group. They have to stand. Zanity's now just going to walk it back. No, he's going to walk forward. The Ash arrow comes through. Ramos is going to get hit, but it's actually the clone. But Lonar is just ghosting forward, zooming in. Oh, good stopwatch, but oh my god. That's a nuke from one. They're all going in. Lotus, I think, are just going to clean up this game. They're all falling. Slice is trying to one-v-one Zamza, but Zamza's going to take him down. Can Zamza get anything? But no, Lofty is going to end this game 15-0-8. That was a clinic from Lofty and co.
Yeah, I mean, I think it purely just comes down. They were just playing into their win con better than Viperio did. I mean, also Viperio, if you're looking at their comp, it is fine for a team to be running into them the way, the way
Sorry, apologies stream, but the Discord does this usually. When you finish a game, it crashes for a brief second.
Or also that there was a couple of occasions where they were just picked off so easily.
Yeah, and I mean, I think stream got some of what you said. Obviously, after games, Discord does that little thing where it says.
I can't actually fix that for you, by the way. There is a way to fix it. If you give me a moment.
Pause champion. There's a way to fix it.
Hold on. There is something that you can do. It's it's something debugging, I think, off the top of my head, but I'm not 100% sure.
Well, we'll send this to a break, and then when you get the answer,
Yeah, I've got it. I've got it. It's in your voice and video settings, and you go down to debug logging and turn it off. But you will have to restart your Discord for that. So
We will do that post stream. So after the next game, I'll just carry on talking. But we're gonna send this to a break. Obviously, I think both sides will need a little bit of a break after that. I think Lotus they like taking a little break of memes. They're probably spamming loads of stuff in their channel right now because they are crazy people, and I love them so much. But yeah, 1-0 for Invul Lotus, going to 5-0 in the standings so far. Can Viperio even up and tie the series, the best of two? Um, or will Lotus just take another 2-0? Find out after a short break. Don't go anywhere.